Well, hello, folks, and welcome to more award-winning shows.
That's right.
From the Bill Crane Report, I'm here with my good friend Dwayne Weiss, and we're here to offer up opinions and information and
Entertain, irritate you, something.
we cover all the
That's
bases.
right. If we don't do anything, if you're not happy or mad at the end of the show, we haven't done our job.
That's exactly right. If you sleep through the show,
Yeah, that's it.
Well, you're not paying attention. Two things to kick off the show, kind of the elder update for Norfolk. Our good friend Thelma Ravinsky fell down and broke her hip and has been operated on. She's got a pin in her hip. She's in Milford Hospital, at least she was at the last report, and is headed for the Whittier Rehab Center in Northborough, Mass. At some point in time. When I get her address there, I will share it with you folks so that you can drop a card in the mail. And I'm sure that the family would appreciate you keeping your thoughts and prayers in mind for for Thelma.
She's a nice old lady, and maybe you can't
is.
use hardly words. Use the word old with her because she's old in years, but she's not old in spirit.
She's young in spirit.
Yeah.
She's terrific lady, and more fun than a barrel of monkeys, as we used to say.
Aware.
Yeah.
So many people age and they lose awareness. This woman knows.
Sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remembers everything from
Yeah.
70, 80, 90 years ago.
Yeah. The other update is the passing of Harriet Fisher. Harriet Fisher passed away in a assisted living facility at the age of 95. Harriet had been very active in the senior center up until she lost her eyesight. But she remained a brilliant woman, and Norma and I would go up occasionally to visit her. Not that Norma feared anything, but she said, "You know, Bill, I want you to come with me and make sure that after an hour or so, you point out that you have a dentist appointment or something." Because we could sit there and chat all day.
Yeah.
But Harriet was right to the end, just a super intelligent lady. She was the first female to get a journalism degree from Boston University.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So, we're saddened by her passing, but I'm sure she has gone to a better place also. So, with that in mind, I I talked to Dwayne, and I said, "Dwayne, I'm not happy with Time Magazine's Man of the Year or Person of the Year or Thing of the Year or whatever. So we're just going to do our own."
We'll do better.
That's right. We'll do better. Absolutely. So we have done the Man of the Year picks.
Yep.
And I said to Dwayne, now, I said, on top of that, I think we should make predictions. Even though this isn't the New Year's show,
It's
close enough to
Going to be
it.
pretty close.
Yeah. We're going to make some predictions about what we expect to happen in the new year. So, Dwayne, bingo bango, who is your choice?
Like it or not, I'm picking Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Aha.
And here's why. The man has dedicated his life to public health, to saving lives and making life better. He is a sounding board. He took more crap for things that he did to try to help for no fault of his own. He stepped into a situation with a disease that nobody knew anything about. And of course, you say, well, we got to do this, and then it turns out you can't do it. So you got to go back and do it the other way. And then it got politicized. Then the finger started, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. Nobody knew what they were doing. But he didn't give up. There were times if I was him, I would just said,
Stuff it.
stuff it, do it yourself. But he didn't.
No.
He kept going. He kept his manners up. He kept his dignity up. And he is a very, very smart man, really. In spite of all the adverse accusations and personal attacks, he stayed the course. And I think on the long run, this country owes him a lot. In spite of it, I just couldn't believe that people turned on him and on little stupid stuff, like, well, he's worth $4 million. Yeah, well, so what? Vanna White gets more than that for turning letters over on that stupid TV show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. In fact, she gets, I believe, $10 or $12 million.
Yeah.
She is co-founder of that show. The way
She's one of the producers.
with the guy there, and they're both paid the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Fauci also got a lot of input from people that didn't know what the hell they were talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and of course, he has to sort it out, and he did. He made some mistakes, but he admits it.
But we didn't know what to do. Nobody knew what to do.
Of course.
So there was a long time, don't forget, we didn't know if this was pneumatic, it was bubonic. We didn't even know how it was spread.
Yeah.
Some thought it was by touching somebody. Somebody thought it was through the air. Some thought it was through the water,
He was interviewed the other day on Fox, and he talked about vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, vaccines save lives. We need to get vaccinated.
Yep.
I think there is a subset of our country that is really afraid that the government
Yeah.
is going to put something
in you.
there
Yeah.
that's going to screw you up, make you tell the truth, make you do this, make you do that.
You're entirely right.
All extremism ideas. These are the people that live in these enclaves way away.
Yeah. Off the grid someplace.
Yeah.
But I really believed when COVID hit and you saw these morgues that they were setting up and people that were wheeling them out by the minute or the hour, people dying. I said, first time they announced that a vaccine is available, people are going to be crawling all over each other to get it. They're going to be pushing your grandma out of the way and step on her. I'm next. And it was for the first few weeks.
Yes, it was.
It was the people that really wanted, and then it just kind of died off.
Yeah.
And then a couple of politicians made some derogatory comments. Well, I'm not going to get it, so it's
How
not.
about the athletes?
Yeah, the athletes
and
this is what-
entertainment types.
they call themselves not the informers, the influencers.
Yeah.
A few of them
Yeah.
got their crazy ideas out there, and pretty soon it spread.
It spread like wildfire. I don't know. I don't understand all of that. It's sometimes the people become like sheep.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
Follow the leader.
Yep.
Oh, did you hear? Musk said he's not getting a vaccine.
Yep.
He's the smartest guy in the world. He knows something we don't know.
Yeah, if
I'm
he's
not
not-
getting
I'm
the
not
damn
getting
stuff
it either,
either.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, part of that, Bill, goes back to one function: the internet. We never had somebody called an influencer before. We never had some doughhead that's got 500,000 followers. Good Lord. And they say what they believe,
Right.
and 200,000 of their followers believe them.
The internet is a great thing, but
Yes,
it's
it
also
is.
the bane of our existence.
You're exactly
Man,
right.
it's like a millstone hung
Yep.
around it. And the idiots can influence people with this insane rhetoric
Yep.
they come up with, and they post it, and you know what? It stays there until someone takes it down. But once it's up there, man,
It's out
it's
there.
out there.
It is out there.
And if they said, something like Nancy Pelosi wears army shoes or something. Well, it's absurd. She doesn't. She wears them out too fast.
That's
She
right.
wears other kinds of shoes. But once you put it out there, man, it's out there forever. It's like these kids. All right, folks, the faint of heart should put their hands over their ears. But the kids are exchanging nude photographs of each other's on their phones.
That's where I was going to go.
Once it's out there,
It's there.
it's there forever.
Yeah. And one of the judge shows, Million People's Court, that was
Yeah.
it. She had a case there, and then somebody posted it, and she says, I always told my kids, I tell everybody, say it, forget it. Post it, regret it.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to be there.
Yep.
Somebody's always going to be able to access it.
Yep.
Whether you take it down or not, it's going to be there.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, all right. I think good choice. And if only for his vaccination policy, I'm on it. I agree.
What I don't like right now is that people are actually got death threats and harassing his family and stuff.
Yeah,
It's got
but
crazies.
they do. They're the cowards.
Yeah,
Of the
oh,
world.
absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, the scary statistic, but the fourth dose,
Yeah.
15 to 20% of the people have
Yeah.
got it.
Now you're five. You got your fifth.
I got it. Yeah.
You got your fifth, right?
Fourth.
Four. Well, there's the first four, and then two was the first two, then the two boosters, and then now the Valiant is out. You got the Valiant. I think you told me you went to. You just went up to.
I
Walmart.
went up to Walmart.
Not Walmart.
Have I
Walgreens.
have I got
Yeah, that's the fifth. That's a Valiant that you got.
Walgreens, rather?
Yeah,
Okay, so I've got 5.
you got 5.
I must look at my slip someday.
But all seniors should have got that fifth
Yeah.
one because that one is designed for all these variants of little odds and ends stuff.
And they are impressed with their own work. They say, this is working. This one is,
Oh, yeah.
is really doing the job. And you
It's
need
like
to get it. So only 15 to 20% of the people are getting it.
Yeah,
Go make sense of
the
that.
people that got it are a very small percentage of picking up these variants. The people that didn't get it are like 80 and 90% of the people are getting this thing.
So if you get the flu,
Yeah, COVID.
if you get the pandemic stuff, you are protected for a while. How long?
They don't really know.
Yeah, that's it. And I think a lot of people are saying, I've already had the damn stuff. So why should I go get more?
We're in untested, unknown territory
Yeah.
here. But statistically, and that's all you got. That's all you've got to go for. And almost, believe it or not, most of the medical information is derived through to statistics.
Yeah.
You know, Well, this is a side effect. Well, how do you know? Because we interviewed 5,000 people that took the drug, and this is what they
Yeah, it
complained
took
about.
us 18 months to do it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then run the numbers and all that. So
Precisely.
we'll be 2 years behind the curve all the damn
Oh, we're
time.
always behind on
Yeah.
the information. But the variants, like the flu is a classic case. When they come out with a flu vaccine, they're only guessing what that flu is going to look like this fall.
Well, they don't know, yeah.
They don't, because every year it looks different.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're pretty much got the idea of the COVID. COVID and flu are related. They're both COVID.
Oh, yeah.
They're both of COVID virus. And COVID, I think the one that we're talking about is what, COVID-19 or COVID-9?
Something like that, yeah.
Whatever. It's just a variation of the same COVID or the same.
Well,
the
these
same
things
virus.
mutate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they mutate. That's the problem with them.
Yeah. So you don't know.
You know where it's going to go.
Yeah, you really don't. And the Chinese are wrestling with that right now.
Big time.
Yeah. Now they have basically set the people free. Yet there are people in China that have written, and Chinese Americans that have written, doctors and all that, saying they could have a pandemic over there of gargantuous
yeah.
proportions. And the thing is that with the last batch, even though they were in lockdown quarantine, their hospitals were stretched to the breaking point. They didn't have any. Well, first of all, they refused to use the Western
Yeah.
vaccine, so they used the crap that they made over there, and it wasn't
Very
effective.
effective.
So they're saying, you know, heaven help us. We certainly don't like the idea of this, but they better be prepared for a world-class problem over there. And it may not just sneak up on them, it may just whammo. Well, anyway.
Part of the fact that people are not rushing out. Well, they're right now they're still recommending 65 or older for the
Yeah.
the variant one. But part of the reason they're not getting it is our attention span.
Yeah,
The media has its old news. As far as they're concerned, and the news people, it's over. There's nothing. There's COVID's gone. Don't worry about it.
it is
Not.
it is our attention span is long
Yep.
as the latest talk show that we're listening
That's
to.
right.
And when the next one comes on, bang, it's all gone, and now we're listening to the next clown. That's
You can have the biggest calamity or crime or whatever it is, and the newspapers and the media broadcast will cover it from A to Z, ad nauseum, until you're so tired of hearing on it. Then all of a sudden it'll gone,
disappears.
and you never even hardly ever hear what happened.
Yeah.
Did they ever catch the guys?
Yeah.
What happened? They're not interested anymore. Just
Yeah.
on to something else.
It's, you know, I dumped the Globe to get the Herald. I like the slant of the Herald. It's conservative. However, they don't do a good job of providing the news in depth.
In depth. That's
Like
the problem.
the
with
Globe
them.
does.
Yeah, they're almost like a what do they, I forget what they call them.
A screaming cheat sheet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, boo, headlines, and that's it, you know. And they do sensational headlines. And they think up cutesy things to say in the headline. But there's no in-depth stuff. And I miss the Globe. The in-depth stuff I get is from the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's a shame because there's good features in the Globe that if the Herald would adopt them, they would be the perfect paper, but unfortunately that's not happening at all. All right.
All right.
The Man of the Year I chose two of them.
Who?
I chose two.
Two. Okay.
Vladimir Putin.
Okay, I can see why.
How many deaths has this man, directly by his actions, caused? and it's impossible to determine how much human suffering he is responsible for. He is a monster in human form, but he has influenced more people around the world than any one person.
When if you're not familiar with what Time has done in the past, the Man of the Year or what Person of the Year is not necessarily the best person.
Adolf Hitler
Adolf Hitler was
twice
yeah.
the Man
And
of
I
the
think
Year.
Mao Zedong was, and
Yeah.
his Cultural Revolution was also one of them.
Yeah.
So it's who influenced. It's not
Yeah.
who's the best.
Yep. And second place, I followed this story closely, and it just ticks me off so much. But second place goes to the mullahs who rule Iran, who murder their own people and suppress the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is just such a repressive dictatorship.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't show your hair. You can't, you got to wear a burqa that goes from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet.
And all these repressive activities are all in the name of Allah.
And it's all against women.
Yep.
And why there is not more outrage
Yeah.
from women in this country and around the world is something I cannot fathom.
I can't understand it
No.
either.
I mean, they scream about some stupid remark some idiot says on the nightly newscast, but yet here's an outrage, an oppression of an entire gender of population. They can't go to school, they can't drive a car, they can't vote, they can't do a bloody thing except serve the man.
Yep. Exactly.
And yet,
They'll join.
Do you hear
Even-
anybody talk about it?
Sometimes they'll join.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get people women will join it voluntarily. I don't understand. But
It's-
maybe somebody out there could enlighten us a little. But
We'll have them on the show
Yeah.
if they want to come on and enlighten us. All right then. How about predictions for the upcoming year?
all right. Now, speaking of Iran, unrest in Iran will continue to grow. And why I think that is because Iran has a huge young population.
Yes, they do.
They have a population that's way disproportionate to the young people as to the seniors or the older people. And it's that older and middle that conform to this. The youngsters aren't quite as moldable right now. They know what's going on, and they're not happy with it.
Up until 1979, when the Shah was overthrown, they were the best educated people in
absolutely.
the Middle East. And they probably still are. I'm sure that these bozos didn't destroy the education system. Now, they may have bent it towards
One of my good
religion.
friends in college was the son of the Shah of the Shah's Minister of Education.
Yeah.
So he told us stories about in Iran, in the ruling, in the inner circle, so to speak, and they did have it really good. I mean, they had his own family had houses up in the mountains. They had ski places in the mountains. They had hunting reserves where they used to go leopard hunting. They had servants. They did have it really nice. But education was highly, highly encouraged.
Yep. A friend of mine, Stan Machowski, before he went to work here in Rhode Island, had been with a major engineering firm down in Houston. And he spent, I forget the exact amount of time, but it was somewhere like maybe 8-10 months in Saudi Arabia. and there was a whole new plant, and he was one of the hands-on guys, tweaking all the instrumentation and all that stuff. Bright guy. And on weekends, it was interesting because he'd be invited out to dinner with his Saudi counterparts.
Yep.
And they said, well, we'll take you to XYZ, a place. Of course, it's not going to be like it was in the States, you know. No, it was twice as wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went into a big restaurant, I guess, nightclub. I don't know. They don't encourage dancing, so I guess a restaurant. And Stan said that you went way to the back. There's a big door there. You went through that. You got qualified, and you got to go to the next door. Guess what?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The good times were rolling back there.
Mm-hmm.
Wine, women, and song were all available. And as the Saudi said to Stan, I think you'll find the French girls the best.
Yeah.
But there was alcohol. They were eating high off the hog.
Oh, yeah. They always said that the biggest collection of porn collections in the world are done by highly placed Islamic people.
No hypocrites there.
Oh, no. even they announced in Qatar now during the World Cup that it was, the no beer served, nothing.
Yeah.
But he said there are certain places with certain people where it flows freely.
Yup. What's the next prediction?
Right. In the same vein, I think that the Chinese are going to see some pushback. They started already with the restrictions on the COVID.
Yeah.
And they're concerned about that. And I think that's going to continue, and I think they're going to get more and more pushback on stuff.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think she is feeling pressure. Now, he's got a stranglehold on that presidency, or whatever the hell he calls himself these days.
President.
But he also, I think, can see a few shadows or hear a few footsteps.
Yeah, yep.
And if he makes a real first-class blunder, well, the knives could come out.
China never had, historically, I don't think. So I don't know if you go back to year 6 or 7 or whatever. They never really had a middle class.
Right.
They had a ruling class and they had the serfs.
That's exactly right.
Now they've got a very strong middle class.
Of their own creation.
Of their own creation. They've created a lot of jobs, put a lot of money into it. Now they've got cars, they've got color TVs, they've got internet, they've got all the modern conveniences. They're not going to give that up.
No, you're right. And I think that she really needs to watch his step. Yeah. That I don't think he could pull off a Tiananmen Square.
No, not anymore.
I don't think so. No. And I think, quite frankly, the reason for that is Hong Kong. I think they overstepped their bounds with Hong Kong. They never should have done it the way they did.
Yeah, they should have left them alone for the 99 years or whatever the agreement was and just walked away from it.
And not only that, but taxed them.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was a money cow, or a cash cow, rather. Yeah.
I mean, come on, it was a financial center. I mean, to do what they did was stupid. What else?
Well, on that same token, I started out putting them in groups, and I said, oh, crap, this ain't working, because I get one girl, then I got one down here, and I had papers all over. I said, I'll just take them as they come. In the same token, though, as China rises, Russia's going to start going down. Russia's influence in the world is sinking fast. There's only a few adherents to the Russian philosophy anymore. You got China, and that is, I don't think so much philosophically based as economically based. Once that economic attraction is gone, China is no longer going to be a buddy-buddy there.
China's going to do what's in the best interest of China.
Absolutely.
And being the financial underpinnings for Russia is not in their best interest. They realize that.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And I think Russia, in a year or two, is going to be to second-class status in the world.
Militarily, they certainly
They're
have
heading that way.
skidded down the ladder, I'll tell you.
You got a GNP that's shrinking.
Yeah.
You got of course, you know, the standard of living is shrinking with the GNP. And I think they're going to be stepping back a little bit. And again, like you said, it's all out to Mr. Putin.
Yeah. That's
It's
right.
all in his lap.
As long as the average Russian has food on the table and vodka,
And a bottle of vodka there.
he's going to be, reasonably speaking, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But when things go the other way,
Yeah.
watch out.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, let's see. I think in the next year or so, we're going to have awakening with our electrical grid. If we get a bad winter, I think there's going to, all of a sudden, saying they're going to see brownouts, you're going to see problems with the grid, you're going to see, you know, Texas had one,
Yeah.
but that was poor preparedness, and that was
That was their own fault. They
that
shot
was their
themselves
yeah.
in the
That
foot.
they were too cocky with their system. But I think nationwide, you're going to see some faults show up here, and I think that's going to slow down a little bit of the electrification mania. Not so much the cars. Cars are just that's kind of a plaything for the rich. But this idea of all the buildings have to be fossil fuel free. You have to have electric this. You have to electric this. There's no push to increase the electrical grid.
They
I
can't,
think it's
they
gonna
can't
come-
figure that out.
Yeah, that's going to come to haunt us very soon, I think.
You know what? That's going to be like the door slamming in your face.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right.
Well, if you got one, go ahead, because I got a bunch
Well,
of
I
them.
tell you what. Okay, because I'll give you a couple that
Okay.
kind of in line with what you've already talked about.
Okay.
The Ukrainian war will continue through a brutal winter, and come spring, the Russians will launch a large offensive to try to defeat the Ukrainians, and then turn to a scorched earth policy to punish the population.
Oh, absolutely.
Then they will declare victory and pull back, holding parts of the Ukraine that they claim belong to Mother Russia. Then they will issue the following statement: Ukraine defied us. We destroyed them. Let that be a lesson to you people who defy us, like Finland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
Oh, I think that's probably part of their playbook.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some stuff today on the TV that we're listening to. A couple of commentators actually more or less said that in so many words. They were saying that the Russians, as soon as the brutal winter is over, are going to regroup, and they are going to crush the Ukraine. And absolutely crush them back into the Stone Age. Now, if that doesn't create one hell of a backlash among the civilized nations
Yep,
of the
the rest of the
world,
world.
I don't know what will. I mean, that is, the Russians are going to become more of a pariah than they
yeah, that's
already are if they do that. But you know what, Dwayne? They're not a bright people.
No, they never.
And Putin is no deep thinker. So what else other than the fist can he think of to straighten the situation out? And it's, I'll crush them. Yeah, that fixed them, you know. But you're right. I think you absolutely nailed it too when you said Russia is going to become a second world country.
Yes, they're not
Yeah,
going to be.
no, they're not
They're
going
not
to
going to be a Bangladesh or anything like that.
Right, right. But by the same token, they're not going to be mentioned along with China and the U.S.
Yeah, they're going to
and
be more
Japan.
like a Poland or a middle of the road European.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Hungary.
Yeah, exactly.
The sale of electric cars will fall far short of expectations. The infrastructure and the lack of long-range batteries
Yep.
and the cost of the cars continues to rise. Hopefully, the changes the House may lead us to an end of the stupidity of paying the rich a subsidy of $7,500
Plus,
to buy electric vehicles.
we got a whole classes of electrical vehicles that are new, that came out. All these manufacturers that came out this summertime, most of them.
Yes,
They haven't gone through a winter yet.
that's right. Yeah, oh yeah. And also, they're getting recalls.
Yep.
I mean, when you try to build something, like General Motors or Ford does, it may be 3, 4, 5 years in development.
Yep.
I mean, the Edsel laid an egg, but it was still a long, like 3 or 4 years in development. They
Oh, yeah.
worked on that. When you try to bring out an electric car in 18 months,
And
boy,
think
I
it's going to
gotta
be
tell you,
fault free.
that's right.
Yeah.
And it ain't going to happen. I think we're on the same page there.
I think so too.
Um,
I think something's going to happen also, that we're going to have to review our key resource independence.
oh,
Right now, we are just kind of sweeping it under the rug.
see, we got stuff in the ground. But the green people say, oh, you can't dig it up.
can't
It'll
do it,
make
yeah.
the atmosphere get ooky.
Yep, that's right.
And of course, our president doesn't really understand some of the more complex ideas.
No, he's
So we're being led by John Kerry and Barack Obama.
yeah.
Yeah. Both of them were somewhat less than right on the nail, hit the nail on the head in their careers. But yeah.
There's so many elements that's key in our society that we don't have control over.
Was it 94% of lithium comes from China?
In rare earths.
Yeah.
Yeah,
94%.
yeah.
What does every battery need?
Lithium. And
Yeah.
what does every permanent magnet need? Rare earth.
Yeah.
And we've got those.
Yeah.
But they were always kind of on the dirty side to process. So we said,
No,
stick it over to
that's-
China, let 'em
that's
have it.
icky. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't do that. Yeah.
it's going to come back and bite us. That
Yeah.
was my prediction,
Yeah.
that we are
And-
going to be.
and you-
Then we're going to be in. We have to play catch up.
And you know what, Dwayne? You're absolutely right.
Yep.
Now, I get a kick out of our president and his administration. Boy, the economy is starting to pick up. Inflation's coming down. It's all my administration's credit. We've done a marvelous job. Gee whiz, do you think that maybe solving the chain of goods coming to this country had something to do with that?
Yeah.
I mean, we have got a lot of goods into this country, which solved some of the bottlenecks about the stuff coming from China, and it's pouring into this country now. Do you think maybe that's got something to do with it, Mr. President? Oh, no, it's my administration and our plans, yeah.
Where do you see the inflation rate? What do you predict for the coming year?
The target is 2%.
Yeah.
Today
Realistically, where do
is-
you see it?
Me? 5.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
5 and 6 and someplace in
Yeah,
that area.
it's going to be brutal to get that thing down, and we're going to have to hurt people to do it.
Yeah, there's a reason. The reason I can't ever see it going down that way, maybe at some place way in the future, but not now. It's called price points.
Yeah,
We have established new price points,
absolutely.
and once the consumer accepts a price point, it becomes a norm. It wasn't just now. Some of it started in COVID when they couldn't get toilet paper. Well, hell, if they would have put $30 a package on the price in the store, people would have bought it. They'd have lined up for it. They didn't care.
Nope, had to have it.
They thought they had to have that.
Yeah.
They established a new price point. Now, if you go back and look at paper goods, I see BJ just had one $24.99 for a thing of paper towels. My God, that used to be $9.99
Yeah,
or $8.99.
yeah.
But we've established a value price point on these things, and now people will pay it.
Just like Rocky's Hardware Store over
Yeah.
in Millis. Okay, they were selling hammers for $12.99. They marked them up to $16.99. Guess what? That price is never going to
Never
come
going
down
down.
again
No.
because they're selling them at $16.99. So I mean, they have established that price point.
Yep.
Keep coming down.
I saw this when I worked for Stanley, and they came out with a 25-foot tape rule, 1 inch wide, 25. That was the first one out like that, and everybody kicked it around as a promo. And everybody was going $9.99, $8.99 on circular because they'd buy them at that price. You know, they could never sell that damn thing for 11 or 12 bucks after that. They had to keep the price down there because it established. People said, "Well, that's only a $10 tape roll.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a $20 tape roll."
Oh, yeah. You know, a smart guy said to me one time, I got a bitch of a time selling this stuff at 12 bucks.
Yep.
I'm raising the price to 15.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And guess what? Didn't affect business at all. They accepted the 15.
Designer goods have done it for years.
How about, you know what? You don't see this with guys, but with our lady friends and the $2,000 handbags.
Yeah, or more.
Now, you know, you could get a paper bag from Roach Brothers with your groceries in it, take it home, and you can reuse it as a woman's purse.
Sure.
No money at all, no cost. You can put your stuff in there, but they need a $2,000 Vuitton bag.
And it doesn't look any different than any other bag.
No.
But you know, it's not just women.
But there's a V on it.
Yeah, that's right. There's a status symbol to it. Why would you pay so much for a Rolex watch that doesn't keep as good as time as a 1999 electronic one from Walmart?
Or a $79 watch from Stour.
Oh yeah, that catalog of it.
Yeah.
They're good stuff too.
They advertise
How about
like
$4.99 from Walgreens?
beautiful.
They stop, I throw them away, and I go and get a new one.
This watch I bought 9 months ago. Well, $79.99,
Yeah, their stuff is decent on that.
and it keeps perfect time, absolutely perfect time. I never have to reset it.
Even though it's one of them electronic things, I still have to add a couple of minutes every couple 3 weeks or so.
Well, for $4.
For $4.99, I said, I'll live with
As long
that.
as it keeps you on the right day, you're all set.
It advises you not to get it wet. Yeah, I can imagine.
This is a big tip off
Yeah.
there. I got here's another prediction. Proof positive will be forthcoming that the pandemic was hatched in the infamous Wuhan lab in China. China, of course, will continue to deny this and will find and attempt a news blackout within their borders.
50-15. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm convinced it's there. Was there.
Because it's, well, yeah, I don't think there's a hell of a lot of dispute on where the origin come from. But I think that the dispute is, on their part, is how it came from. To them, they want to believe it's just a freak of nature that it happened. I don't think so, because stuff's been going on for thousands of years, but the relationship of eating animals and herding animals and it was only now that it just happened to happen. Yeah, I know we've had anthrax and things like that in the past, but we've always known about them, and they weren't an uncontrollable. It just was too.
It is too bloody convenient.
Yeah, and coincidental to be.
It just almost had to have happened that way in the lab. This is one of my
This
favorites.
must be good.
People absorbed by Harry and Meghan will be shunned by all the normal people left in the country, which, by the way, numbers about 1 in 10.
Yeah, I bet.
Have you met or listened to or seen two more repulsive people than that pair?
I don't follow them. I don't.
And what is the big deal fawning over them in this show on Netflix? Who the hell cares?
Who cares?
Have we become so brain dead that we have to see what they have to say?
Well, that's the influencer again. What we're talking about.
Yeah.
We look to them for guidance.
Yeah, like
you and I don't, but I mean,
yeah.
a certain group does.
Oh, Megan, I think is going to say that she heard the Queen passing gas once.
Yeah.
Oh, gee whiz, now there's a great story. But people will flock to hear it.
Absolutely.
Ay, ay, ay. CNN TV network will go out of business, and all of their talking heads will be arrested and imprisoned in a special jail being built on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, okay.
Is that far enough away for
That's
that
far
whole
enough
bunch?
away.
And Dwayne and I will be invited to appear on a special edition of The View.
Now that's not prediction. That is a sure thing.
Yep. But since we are the epitome in good taste, we will regrettably decline the offer.
Like we have in the past.
Exactly. Joe Biden will decide not to run as his energy and intellect continues to decline. His wife, the doctor, I think will be the deciding factor. That's a serious.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think I'm afraid that, I think we tend to see it most every day. Now, lately, I don't know whether he's on some vitamins or what, but he's been a little clearer. But either that or they wiped the
I think
fog off the machine that he
They've
reads
controlled him a
from.
little more on what he can say and how he should say it. Here's another one. I think that the Florida Cuban population group is going to be less influential in our politics because they're aging.
And they have also intermarried.
That's right.
And now they're not so much Cuban Americans
That's
as
right.
they are Americans.
And I think that's going to, you don't hear that much about them. Once in a while, they'll come up. But they're dying off. They're getting older.
Yep.
And like you said, they're intermarrying, and it's a less influence. So I think that they are a big factor in our approach to Cuba, because politicians have been afraid of them.
Big money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they came over. They became businessmen.
Yep.
Well, they were businessmen. They always had that mentality, but they came over and they were free to follow their dreams.
Yeah, I was surprised how strong that community is and how united it is.
Yes.
When I was a buyer for Hills Department Stores, I bought hardware and automotive, and in those days you bought FM stereo radios, you usually didn't order them in the car. You bought them aftermarket and put them in. And I don't recall the manufacturer anymore because it's been for 50 years since I worked, 40 some years since I worked for them. But they were out of Miami, and they were Cuban, obviously. It was good stuff, you know. There was a name electronics brand, but we used to go down. I'd visit them, and they'd introduce you to all these Cubans, and right away, you know, they speak Spanish amongst each other, and then they'd switch over to English. But the money and where they lived and how they lived was amazing.
Yeah.
They had a civilization or a culture all their own in Florida, and they knew, and they bought and worked with each other. Like this stereo company, his suppliers were also Cubans, who bought transistors from another Cuban outfit, who bought the knobs from another Cuban outfit. They were all interrelated. It was really tight. And
I wonder if we can round up a bunch of them and get them to work with the Republican Party and find a way that they can all work together
yeah,
too.
right. Yeah, that would
because
be
that's a problem.
that's one of my predictions.
Oh,
there.
good.
But I predict that our relationships with Cuban is going to improve. Now, we are sometimes our own worst enemy on some of these things. We wouldn't have had the Cuban problem of immigration and stuff if we wouldn't have made it so damn tough for them there.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of cutting back, I would have opened it up and say, look what we got. You could have that too.
Come on over.
Raul and his brother wouldn't have lasted long. The dissatisfaction factor would have got so high.
Oh, yeah.
But we cut it back so that they didn't know any different.
Yeah.
They said they would think that, well, you got it worse in the United States, don't you?
Yeah.
You can't just go to the grocery store and buy any kind of bread you want.
In our zeal to punish them, we made their lives a lot worse.
And made them want to leave.
Yeah.
Where do they go?
Yeah. Here they come.
Here they come.
Good. I get one more here. The FTX fiasco will prove once again that stupidity does exist among the wealthy. They can't wait to throw their money at charlatans with a smooth story. I have no sympathy for the morons who threw their money at Sam Bankman-Fried. As far as I'm concerned, they can get a McDonald's cup and sit on the curb begging for coins. Got any spare change, buddy? And speaking of Bankman-Fried, capital punishment should be back on the table for this dishonest thief who ruined many lives.
Yep. I've got a prediction.
Let's have it.
I see a fall of crypto in general, not just that guy.
Can you believe that people invested in crypto and there's no backing?
There's nothing there.
No,
It's
it's
just a
not like
confidence.
buying a piece of land where you got something you can reach out and touch or develop or improve.
Yeah, so I bought that coffee cup because I believe Bill Crane's going to pay me more than I paid for that coffee cup.
Yeah,
Well, is he? I don't know, but I believe he is.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. That's the crypto
That's a crypto.
world.
That's the world.
I mean,
That-
you could get 5 more minutes worth of predictions there.
Oh God, yeah. Put my glasses on now. We're going to see manufacturing continue to go overseas, but I think we're going to see less going to China and more to some alternate countries.
You know, I hope that's not true, because Blinka, he's one of the president's key advisors, and I think it's on the financial end of things, said sending our manufacturing overseas was one of the worst mistakes we ever could have made. Sending our wealth over there,
Yeah.
it just boomeranged on us. Now we're pulling it back, and we should never do that again. Now, if that's how this administration thinks, well, there's one thing I agree with them on. I hope.
Oh, I think we should have, everything should be brought back.
Absolutely.
But I think that the stuff that's going to go, less is going to go to China and more is going to go to Vietnam, Bangladesh, Thailand. I got all a list
Oh yeah,
here.
I agree with you totally. I don't
China
see.
alternatives.
I don't see anybody standing in line to go to China
The
and
too many
send
problems.
stuff over there, and they're not, only going to get worse. They're not going to get better. I don't think anyway.
No, I don't think they're going to get better either.
No. And Taiwan is going to be a major league irritant
Oh,
for
absolutely.
the Chinese. They better back off what they're talking about with Taiwan becoming part of mainland China by 2030. Because if they really and truly are headed in that direction, it's going to be the same thing as the Ukraine. They're going to become a pariah also. As somebody smart said many years ago, the next war will be fought with economics.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful tool.
Yeah. And information, too, is another.
Yeah.
Well, I got another prediction.
Good.
I think the auto shortage is coming to an end. You're going to see dealers flooded with cars coming in 23. Right now, they're trying to artificially say that they don't have cars, but they do,
That's right.
because they don't want to give any discounts.
That's exactly right. Again, the
Again,
price point.
People
That's
got
right.
used to paying.
Yep.
sticker price
List
or-
price,
yep.
yeah. And they're saying to themselves,
Okay.
wow, I love
I
list
like
price.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to give these things away anymore.
Do you know that it's tough to pin down an automobile dealer that'll be honest with you as to what they make?
Oh,
But
I do.
boy,
I
there's
know.
a lot of guys that want to own car dealerships. I know that.
I have cousins in the business.
Oh, okay. So you know all about the spiffs they get
Yeah,
every
the-
once in
the-
a while.
yes,
like
and
push SUVs and there's an extra
There's
five.
a dealer
in it
incentive
for
to
you.
them, and there's
There
all
you
kinds
go.
of paybacks and
Yeah, and then at the end of the year, you all are guaranteed a 3% kickback on your entire business.
if he shows you the invoice, that's not the true. That's not his true cost.
No, it's not.
No.
No. Got another one? We
Oh,
got
yeah,
Probably
yeah.
1 minute to go.
I think the stock market's going to do well this year for
Do you
various
know
reasons.
what? I tend to agree with you. I think there's a tremendous pent-up demand. There are people that are sitting on a
A
lot,
of money.
That's
That's exactly what my next point.
However, the people that are not as well off are burning through their savings
they
right
are.
now like crazy, and credit card debt is skyrocketing. And guess who gets hammered the worst?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The elderly.
Yep. I think the digital world's going to continue to grow. It's going to become even more so
Yep.
in the coming year.
Okay.
Print is going to see a decrease. We're already seeing decreases in print. Consumer Reports just announced they no longer going to print the the annual that
Annual.
all the
That's
book
gonna
with
be
all the stuff in.
digital.
You can now use your code. Okay, wrap up. You got to now use your subscription code. Go online to look at it.
Oh, okay.
They're not going to print it anymore.
Well, how about that?
And there are other magazines and stuff that are not printing anymore. They want to go digital.
Okay.
I think we've come to our time.
Oh boy. I'm not on top of my digital game.
Oh, me neither.
On that note, folks, take a break. Go hit the John. Go get a couple more cans of beer. Go get some potato chips.
Bring one for me too.
Take a break, and we'll be back shortly.